So Google just did something kind of bold. They're trying to reignite the health space, which, let's be honest, has been getting pretty stale as of late. So Google basically said, what if the best fitness tracker was the one that you forgot you were wearing? Meet the Fitbit Air. This thing is $99 with no screen and about the size of a Tic Tac. How's it going, everyone? My name is RJ, and after spending some real time with the Fitbit Air, I think Whoop is in trouble. I think Apple might be in trouble, and I think this is one of the more interesting product launches that we've seen this year that really isn't getting the hype that it deserves. So let's get into it. Quick context before we go anywhere. Fitbit as a brand has been quiet for a while. Google acquired them back in 2021, and since then it's kind of felt like nothing was really happening. A few updates here, a Pixel Watch over there, but nothing that really moved the needle. A lot of people, including myself, kind of assumed that Fitbit was just going to fade slowly into Google's ecosystem and then disappear. That's not what happened. What actually happened is Google spent the last few years building something. And the Fitbit Air is the first product where you really see the strategy. It's not trying to compete with the Apple Watch. It's going after a completely different category, the screenless fitness tracker, which up until now has basically been Whoop's playground. But here's where things get really interesting. Google didn't just copy Whoop. They looked at Whoop's business model, which is you pay a subscription forever or your tracker stops working. And Google did the opposite. The Fitbit Air is $99. You buy it, you own it, and all the core stuff, heart rate, sleep tracking, SpO2, AFib detection, the smart wake alarm works forever with no subscription. That's a really aggressive model. And it's the kind of thing only a company with Google's resources can really pull off. So allow me to walk you through what this thing actually is. The Fitbit Air is a tiny pebble, about 5 grams, smaller than my thumbnail, that clips into a band. That's it. No screen, no buttons, no display of any kind. The whole tracker is made of recycled polycarbonate. The back has an array of sensors, and there's a little LED on the side that doubles as your status light. You double tap the pebble and it lights up white if your battery is good, red if you need to charge. Now the band situation is where it gets fun. Google launched the Air with a few different band options. There's the Performance Loop, which is a textile band with a micro-adjustable buckle, the Active Band, which is silicone for workouts, and the Elevated Modern Band, which is more of a leather style look for when you want to dress it up. The one that I got is the Performance Loop in lavender, which is kind of the soft blue color, and it really fits nicely on the wrist. I also ordered the Elevated Modern Band in black, which should be here in a few days. The whole point of the system is that you can swap the pebble between the bands depending on what you're doing. Workout bands for the gym, fabric band for the day, something more dressed up for the evening. And the pebble pops in and out with basically zero effort. Push, click, and you're done. On the wrist, honestly, the first thing you notice is that you don't notice it. This thing weighs 12 grams. The Apple Watch that I used to wear on my wrist weighs significantly more, and the difference is night and day. I've had this on my wrist now for about 10 days. Workouts, work, sleeping in it, showering in it, and I genuinely forget that it's there, which sounds like a small thing, but it's actually a huge deal because the whole point of a fitness tracker is that you wear it all the time. And if it's bulky or uncomfortable or it bothers you at night, you take it off. And then of course you can't track anything. The Fitbit Air just kind of disappears into your routine, which I think is the entire pitch. Now let's talk about what's actually inside this thing, because for a $99 device, the sensor package is pretty impressive. You're getting 24/7 heart rate monitoring, heart rate variability, resting heart rate, SpO2, which is your blood oxygen, skin temperature variation, breathing rate, and probably the headline feature, irregular rhythm notifications, which is the AFib detection. AFib is normally locked behind a much more expensive device. Now for comparison, Whoop charges $359 a year for AFib detection on their top tier device. The Fitbit Air just includes it. Battery is rated for 7 days. Google says you can do a 5-minute fast charge and get a full day of battery life, which is pretty clutch. It is water resistant down to 50 meters, so showers, pool, oceans are all fine. And it tracks workouts automatically. You start running, it figures out that you're running. You hop on a bike, it figures out that you're on a bike. No starting, no stopping, no telling it what you're doing. It just knows. So here's my personal angle. I'm actually using this thing. I'm getting back to the gym, trying to shed some pandemic weight that's been around for way too long, and the Fitbit Air is my primary tracker for all of it. Steps, heart rate on the Stairmaster, HIIT sessions, lifting, everything is going through this little pebble on my wrist. And honestly, I'm really excited about it because the other half of this story is what Google built to go with it. So that's the hardware. Now let's talk about the app, because if you're buying a screenless tracker, the app is the product. There is no watch face, there is no display. The only way you can see your data is on your phone. So the app has to be incredible. And as of today, like literally today, May 19th, the Fitbit app does not exist anymore. It's now called Google Health. The same data, the same account, the same history, but the entire interface has been rebuilt around 4 tabs: today, fitness, sleep, and health. This is a big deal for a couple of reasons. One, if you're an existing Fitbit user, you don't have to do anything. The app updates automatically, your data carries over, and you wake up with the new app. 2, Google Health is now available on your iPhone, iOS 16.4 or higher. And if you're on an iPhone, even if you don't have a Fitbit, even if you never owned one, you can download Google Health today and pull all of your Apple Health data straight into it. Your Apple Watch steps, your workouts, your heart rate, all of it. Which is kind of wild when you think about it. Google just put their fitness app on the iPhone with full Apple Watch integration. On the same day, they launched a device designed to make Apple's whole strategy look outdated. That is not an accident, that's a play. But the actual real reason why the Google Health app is a really big deal is what's inside, which is of course the new Google Health Coach. And this is the part where things get genuinely new. The Health Coach is a Gemini-powered AI built into the app. And instead of showing you a bunch of charts and graphs and leaving you to figure out what they mean, it actually talks to you. You can ask it how many reps you should be pushing, what kind of weight you should be doing, what kind of cardio makes sense for the day. For me, this is the use case. I want to dial in a routine. I want a coach that knows my data, knows my goals, and tells me what to do. I want to walk into the gym and already have a plan instead of standing there scrolling through Instagram trying to figure out what to train. And the Health Coach is supposed to do exactly that. Now, whether it actually delivers on their promise, that still needs to be tested. And that's a big part of what I'm going to be evaluating over the next couple of weeks. Now, the coach is a part of Google Health Premium, which is $10 a month. You get 3 months free in the box with Fitbit Air. And here's the thing nobody's really talking about. If you already pay for Google AI Pro or Ultra, Health Premium is included. You're already paying for it. So if you're a Gemini subscriber, that is essentially a free upgrade to your existing plan. So let's zoom out for a second. I think there's a bigger story here. Google just disrupted the entire health tracking space. Whoop's whole model is pay us forever or your hardware stops working. Apple's model is buy our expensive watch and we'll give you the basics for free. No AI, no real coaching, just charts and graphics. And now Google walks in with a $99 tracker, a free tier that's actually useful, an optional subscription that's cheaper than Whoop, and a Gemini-powered AI coach that nobody else is shipping. So what does that mean? Honestly, I'm not totally sure yet. We have to see if the sensors are accurate, if the sleep tracking is real, if the battery actually gives you 7 days. But the pieces are there and the price is there and the strategy is for sure there. And that is more than I can say for most product launches. So that is my first look at the Fitbit Air. $99, seamless, 12 grams, 7 days of battery, new AI coach, new app for the iPhone and Android, and one of the most aggressive moves Google has made in the consumer hardware space in years. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've had this on my wrist for about 10 days at this point. So I have a lot of thoughts. But the official review embargo doesn't lift till May 26th, which means I can't share the testing data, the accuracy comparisons, battery numbers, or my real verdict until then. What I can tell you today is what's in the box, how it feels, and what Google is actually trying to do here. The real review, the one with the data, the comparisons, my complete take, is coming on May 26th. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you guys made it to the end of this video, drop a dolphin emoji down in the comments below. I would love to know who my true supporters are. And make sure you guys are subscribed because trust me, I have a lot to say. I'll catch you guys all in the next one, and don't forget to flex with your tech.